Damn, y'all. This is part two, actually, because I actually recorded like a couple minutes and then I wasn't even actually recording, so let's do this again. Oh, and here goes my watch for some reason doing some silly little thing. Anyway, I'm just gonna be talking, and whatever time. We got this little birdie friend with us. Oh, welcome to Poetry on the Patio with Pleiades. Please be inspired people and their mamas. This episode is episode 23, and it is titled Mountains. This is gonna be posted on November 10th, 2025, and today is November 9th, my aunt's birthday night time before tomorrow morning my doctor's appointment, and we'll talk about why I'm having a doctor's appointment in a little bit. Um, but my mic wasn't on the first time. I don't know if I mentioned that, and that sucks. So, yeah, let's start by talking about moving to Houston and how that's going. So that's going better now. I was not packing, and then Joaquina reminded me that packing exists, and then immediately I kicked into action because I felt like I was so behind in so many aspects, and so many people in my family did, and it's like, no, we should feel better about these things. This should not be that big of a deal, and you should be able to transition and adjust well. And yeah, so then I got like a whole bunch of luggages, duffel bags, backpacks that are packed now, and some that have already gone to Houston, and some that are actually going to Houston tomorrow. And we'll see how much more I'm able to pack, but that has been an interesting time. And other family members have also started to pack some bags now, and they didn't have bags before, but I gave them some, and now I'm like running thin on bags, and some of my boxes seem to have mold on them. I don't know, but we'll see. Um, anyway, I wanted to talk about all of that before getting into like deeper issues, deeper conversations, because again, I'm talking about mountains here. So these are the mountains that I went through, and it's cold tonight, so it kind of feels like, I don't know, like the irony of the universe is not lost on me. Anyway, um, so how do I feel post Alan interview? Because last week's episode was Alan's interview. Oh, also I wanted to mention it's crazy. No, not crazy. It's okay. It's just whatever. That the week before that, episode 21 was called Grounding before Alan's interview, and now I'm talking about mountains, and I don't feel grounded right now. It's just so interesting to talk about this a second time because like. I don't know, like repeating myself, sometimes it's like, yeah, I'm just repeating myself, but this time it's like, it's for my podcast anyway. Um, So how do I feel post Allen? I feel great. It went even better than I could have imagined, and like what an incredible dude, makes me feel so much happier, grateful for community, and like the respect that I have for him as an artist only grows every single day. And yeah, I am so grateful for the people that I have in my life. So, Alan, if you're watching this, thank you so much for existing. I've said that before. And to everyone else watching my podcast, thank you so much for existing. Um, and yeah, I also wanted to talk about, this is crazy. This is not crazy. This just is, right? That's what we've decided here. Everything is. Um, okay, so it's 7 p.m. now. Mm, Also, like sometimes you get like stones in your like, I don't know what this thing is, like the soft palate. And like you have to pull them out, like not tonsil stones, like in the back of your throat, but like sometimes I have those too. That sucks. Longer conversation right there, but I don't know. I've kind of just been like pulling at something on my tissue, and I've always like felt like I've kind of had something there, and like, oh, those look so painful, and that people have said that they're really painful to remove. So I'm like, I really hope that's not what I'm feeling, and that's not what I've like. Anyway, but also if it's in my body, I would want it to leave, right? So there's that. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to talk about after my move to Houston. What am I gonna do? So I'm gonna be biking around town. I have a bike rack now, so I'm going to be biking around town, and I am excited to go to the library, the local library near my house, and read a bunch and do work. Get some stuff done while I'm there. But also in a couple of months, like from now, and we're already moving to Houston now, right? So um December, January, February is going to be just like moving, and then like February or March, I'm going to be moving back to Austin in 2026 because I need to focus on my band and music and my life. And I'm going to be turning 26, and then I need to become financially independent. I don't know, I've just been like struggling a lot lately, so that has been on my mind and makes me want to take care of myself and the people around me. And I feel like a villager more so, we've talked about that. So yeah, I think when it comes to being financially independent, that's going to help me live my life the way that I need to a lot better. So I want to talk about you know what, we're gonna hit the mountain. We're gonna hit the tallest mountain right now because that's just what the timing calls for. And again, I'm just gonna talk about whatever topics these are, then go to next week's, and then close this up. And if it's not 30 minutes, it's not 30 minutes because I don't have the clock, with me because I'm in the middle of moving and I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, which again, let's talk about. So, oh, I had a freaking near death experience, and I didn't want to talk about it really on my podcast, but I feel I should, um, because otherwise, like, I don't know, something about being like radically honest and getting my thoughts out there, and also like coming back to this moment and like reflecting on it myself, but also like giving the world a chance to reflect on it if someone happens to come upon this at the time that I'm again reaching these mountains, or later when they're going through their own mountains or something, and for some reason this helps them. But yeah, my near death experience unlocked some memories for me, and that was quite a lot because I had been reading this book recently, but it's about like the cosmos, and I've been reading many of these books, and I've been reading books in general about the universe and the world in general, and people who've thought, and I started to listen to the music that's playing in the distance. I don't know why this bird stays here. It's like an orange and green yellowish bird, and so beautiful, so cute. Um, but yeah, in these books that I was reading, they described that the drones that had reached the surface of Venus had sent some Bluetooth pictures or whatever, digital radio pictures to the Earth. And what we had seen was that Venus's clouds had produced a yellow light that was burning up and like boiling the surface. And that is where like the drone burnt up and could not send any more pictures. But it reminded me of these blue clouds from this world that I lived in, which I think like was all blue in the like sky and everything. And we all of our skin looked blue, but like different pigments of blue, but we couldn't see those different pigments of blue because we were all just blue. So like the world was different, but I was like still me. Like I felt like me. But I don't know, that's like a huge discussion, like what me means, because sometimes in my past lives I've been different people and I still feel like me, but I've gone through different experiences, so me feels different. Anyway, but this near death experience, this was like this past week, and I don't know, I was just I was doing a lot, I was going through a lot, and because of that I became a lot. I don't know, I am going to the doctor tomorrow because of this, because the near death experiences remind me of like some seizures that I'd been through, and I feel like we just need to talk about health more. And I think like a lot of people have experiences of seizures but don't like talk about them. And I'm saying this also because I've had a friend that has passed away from seizures, and like my near death experience came from schizophrenia and a lot of other things, mania, depression, a lot of other things. interchangeably. But yeah, I guess let's just get into it. I laid down to rest because I was like going through some schizophrenic episode, and my schizophrenic episode is still like a little affecting me, but it's a little bit better than it was when I had my near death experience. And yeah, I lay down to rest and I was experiencing these ghosts. And I've had these experiences before where like there's a lot happening with the ghosts. They're coming in and out and they're above me and below the ground because that's where they also can roam, you know, in the earth. And they're leaving me, some were staying, some were going through their own time warps, and I was experiencing like all these different feelings. And then I was like, I just want to feel the gravity of the earth. I just want to be grounded. I just want to feel the earth below me. And as I'm feeling the earth below me, I'm like probably low blood pressure. I was talking about this with my friend Ethan, and also I was probably experiencing vertigo and some other stuff. And I was like, yeah, just feel the curvature of the earth. And like, I don't know, I was having like time shift in a different way. And very quickly, I saw like a flash of my life and like flash of future possibilities. And then I was like following into the white, and like all my organs were like, yeah. Anyway, I mentioned this because I've experienced this on shrooms and again, mountains, right? Like I'm going through a lot, and I just have to check if this is going because. Okay, I'm pretty sure that took that video, but whatever, because it said a device was added, and it's like, yeah, that was just my watch that's on my hand. Anyway, we're 12 minutes in, and we're talking about this near death experience, right? And all of the health issues. And yeah, that made me want to be more intentional. um, and I have been struggling with that because old habits die hard, but they do die, and I'm trying to remind myself of that. And I don't know, you know, like year by year things look better. Month by month things look better. Week by week sometimes things don't look better. um, and month by month sometimes things don't even look better. But year by year on a whole, it's like, damn, yeah, yeah, things are better. I know myself more, and I know my history, and I know why I'm doing what I'm doing. Also, I sprained my wrist, or my thumb. Oh, and oh, I don't know if that's normal. I don't even know. Like y'all probably couldn't tell on the camera, but I'll give y'all a chance to see. It kind of looks like I'm freaking out and I'm wrong, but like I hurt my thumb. I just sprained the thumb. It pulled it back. Um, and yeah, I thought the colors were different because I thought it was bruised, but maybe not. Maybe not. Um, being more intentional. Yeah, words are magic, life is magic. Um, this is episode 23, you know. Like so much has happened, and if you've been here since episode 1, if you've seen every single one of these episodes, like I think you've known how much I've changed and how much the project has changed and how much we have changed, you know. If you've watched all of these, it's like, whoa, what is life about, you know? What are we thinking about? What is thoughts? And I also understand why people have told me to get a podcast, and I feel like I'm gonna cry because it's like literally my baby, you know. And I'm like, I've been talking about gestating it, and now it's like from June. How many months is that? Like July? Well, yeah, July, August, September, October, November. That's 5 months of gestating this baby, you know. And I can only imagine what time will bring with this project. And already it's brought so much gorgeous energy into my life. And I'm only, again, even more excited to see where it will go in the future. Um, and that's what being intentional is all about. Okay, now we're gonna talk about some even more heavy shit because that's what life is all about. Time warps and dreams and life and things. So yeah, I was talking about the blue world, and I want to talk about time warps because there's these two times that I passed out because I like once had this like this finger, one of these fingers. Yeah, one of these fingers sliced into. I'm pretty sure it was this one actually. And my finger was stuck in a doorway in middle school, and then the skin got out and I was like, hold yourself together. Like I get so embarrassed and I was like, just go to the nurse's office and you'll be fine. And I got to the nurse's office, slice a finger out of my body. And the nurse is like, yeah, there's nowhere to sit, nothing to do. Sorry about that. Just put a band-aid on and go grab the band-aids. And as I'm trying to grab the band-aids, I passed out. And then I'm on a seat when I wake up. And in that seat, I ask them, how long has time passed? Or like what time is it? Like, how long was I out? And it takes a while for me to get the answer that I need, but that's because I was gone for 3 days in this blue world that I describe, and in those 3 days, I was on a train and I remember I had been thinking, why am I not doing anything on this train? And like I'm just sitting there alone, and it wasn't like 3 days exactly that I was on the train. Like I was walking around too. There was other things that I was doing, but then I realized like that life was slipping away from me. Like I no longer existed there, but I've existed there before, and I can exist there again. And there are different existences, and I don't know. It was just strange. Okay, but then I went to the world again, and this was years later. That was seventh grade, and this was in sophomore year of high school. And in that year, uh, I had passed out for 30 seconds, and that was when I was getting my blood drawn because I've had some trauma getting my blood drawn. And then after that year, I donated blood because I was like, get over it. What are you gonna do? Be scared of a little needle, a little blood in a bag? Um, anyway, in that 30 seconds, in those 30 seconds, I had a whole 4 years go by. I had a husband, I had children, I was pregnant, I went through an experience, and then again, time slipped away from me, and I was like freaking out because I was like, am I dying? Well, what is happening here? And then I woke up in this life, and it wasn't blue, but that didn't bother me. I was like, no, but I recognize this body, I recognize who I am, and the memories I have, I recognize. And then I look up, and there's a doctor, and it's a man, and I'm like, is that my husband? And then I'm like, wait, no, but I'm 16. This isn't when I'm 25 yet, which is crazy because I'm 25 now, and I'm like experiencing all these memories in a different wavelength. Um, and that blue world also feels like, again, a blue sky, blue clouds. I feel like humans have been on there, before, and it's just a light that makes it cold a lot of the time, and we still, like, just because of that, like our skin experiences and metabolizes sunlight differently, that's all time warps and dreams. Isn't that crazy? um okay, I'm gonna talk about dating because there's a lot on my mind and this will get it off my mind. um I deleted dating apps because I was struggling. I've been saying that a lot, like straight up, straight up. I don't know, sometimes using a K is funny. Yeah, but I've been struggling. I was just like talking to so many people at once and like having so many different experiences for so many different reasons. And then, sorry, my left hand has the metal in it, and that's where I sprained my thumb. And it is feeling a little abnormal, but it'll be fine. I do a lot, but not too much now. Um, it is so cold out right now, but sorry. What? Why am I apologizing? Um, yeah, I deleted dating apps. So if anyone who was on dating apps that's watching this is watching this, I'm sorry. Just in general, to be honest. I didn't even like pause my accounts. I just deleted them. I didn't even delete the apps. I just deleted the accounts and then deleted the app. I was like, no, 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 no. I'm not well. um, yeah, I have a lot of people that I've worried, and I can feel that, and that makes me worried now, and I can feel that. And yeah, I've gone in and out of dating this last year a lot. David, if you're watching this, my bandmate, you know this in just the little time that we have known each other. Oh, fuck. Okay, there's one more thing that I'm going to talk about, and then we're going to talk about next week, and then we're going to close this up, fellas. So, sorry, anytime I say the word fella, which I don't for this reason, but now that I've said it, I must respond in the way that I've said this before when I say the word fella again. Um, sorry. No, why am I sorry? I'm so autistic. I want to talk about my autism soon, but today's not the day. This is not the day. And who knows if it'll be this year. I hope so, but maybe when I move out, things will make it easier. But anyway, um are you a smart fella? Or are you a fart smeller? Okay. Let's talk about balance versus boundaries. Shout out Zach for mentioning this earlier. Balance versus boundaries. Balance. uh, I'm constantly shifting between extremes of like indulgence and then nothing. The irony is not lost on me, universe. Um, yeah, and my sister and I were talking about this earlier today, and yeah, like things sometimes seem black or white, and then gray, and then people are like, don't be black or white or gray, but be this version of gray, but be this gradient, but be this color, but be this shape. Balance. I'm still trying to figure myself out, and that's why I'm saying versus boundaries, and then we can finish this topic. Um, so yeah, versus means like I don't consider myself to have no boundaries at all, but I would also not say that my boundaries are strict, but I would also not say that like there's no line, but I also don't believe in borders. No, I think that pretty much sums it up. But I will get more into it just for the fun of it. But that does pretty much sum it up. I have to recheck this. Okay, now my phone is on low power mode, so this is the third time that we're doing this. And Birdie is still here. Birdie has been here looking at me, listening to me. I'm like, does Birdie even know that we're friends right now? Birdie might. Maybe Birdie looks at me and looks at their family later in the day. Or I don't know, maybe Birdie doesn't have a family. But maybe Birdie has friends that look just like him. And look, I'm orange just like him. So maybe he looks at me and he sees a birdie today. But a big birdie. And he's like, that's a big birdie. Is that my mama? Is that what my mama look like? I don't know. Anyway, sorry. Why am I apologizing? So I'm trying to do better by being intentional, right? So that means being more intentional with my apologies. And sometimes I apologize, and then I say it's okay because I'm trying to stop apologizing. And yeah. Anyway, balance. Sometimes I indulge, sometimes I don't. Sometimes it's black, sometimes it's white, sometimes it's gray, sometimes it's color. And sometimes I'm still figuring myself out. So sometimes that means my boundaries stay, and sometimes that means they shift. Sometimes that means you can talk to me about them, because sometimes the boundaries that I have are boundaries that my childhood self had. So sometimes that means we got to reframe them together. And sometimes you got to take control of the conversation, because sometimes it seems like I got control, but I don't got control. I just got some control over myself. And because I got control over myself, sometimes I maintain my boundaries for the moment, but time heals all wounds. Sometimes there needs to be something better than time that heals all wounds, like a pill. But there's not one pill. One pill fills all your gaps in your emotional state. Anyway, poetry in the patio with Pleiades, everybody. Episode 23. Next week we're gonna talk about how does the cat feel about the move specifically. Then we're gonna talk about winter clothes. We're gonna talk about cooking. We're gonna talk about Annihilation, the book that we're reading for my book, the book club that I'm a part of. There's other things that we're gonna talk about, but I'm gonna figure that out later. Later next month, on December 1st, actually, inshallah, we will have free Hamza on the podcast. I'm excited. Again, the podcast is constantly changing. My life is constantly changing. Life should always constantly change. And that's all, folks, for this week. Much love as always. You know what I'm gonna say here. Take care of yourself. Journal. Become ambidextrous. Stretch. Exercise. Do a pull up. Drink some water. Keep your propane tanks outside of the house, not in your garage. Be nice to animals and bugs. But why in my face? At least I'm not nice. He's trying to get in my house. Alrighty, folks. Are you eating your vegetables? Are you loving yourself? Are you the people around you? Are you taking care of yourself, your mental health, your mind? Are you going to the doctor? Are you your friend? Alrighty. Until next time, please beans. Bye bye.